Alright, I'm going to do something a bit different today. I'm just going to pick some favourite units from packs 1 and 2. So I've just edited my my tier list designer here, and I've got first, second, third, and then honourable mention. And then we've got the short list of pets from pack 1 and a short list from pack 2. So I'm going to pick 3 pets from each pack for first, second, third, and then I'll grab some honourable mentions from the rest. And then finally at the end we'll go for the absolute worst units out of these. And this is not necessarily based on ability, it could be anything. It could be to do with the artwork or the fact that they're overplayed, things like that. So let's start with some honourable mentions, I guess, ones that I didn't pull up. I think let's say like Giraffe. I mean, Giraffe is always a dopamine hit when you get it on turn 3 out of Spider or Level Up. I always love that Bus comes out of Deer. I think that's hilarious, and kind of wish there was a bit more of that in the game. What else? I think the new Shark has been kind of fun. It's maybe a little bit strong, and you can see a lot of people using it for hard mode at the moment with the paper shredder. There are some that probably would go in the past, like Octopus used to be very funny, but it's now become a bit of a nightmare. Yeah, I'm not even sure if there's any of the other like dedicated tier pack 2 units that I would even put in the honorable mentions. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think pack 2 really struggles. I guess maybe tropical fish. I guess we could put tropical fish in there just to represent pack 2. It's like the rubbish version of Giraffe. Okay, let's pick some actual favourites then. So here's my short list, and some of these have been like my favourite pets in pack 1 in the past, and for various reasons they've been changed. But if you want to like pause the video now and guess what I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 for pack 1, then feel free to do so. All right. Way back, I would have said Cat and Snake were probably my favourites, but I think Cat has kind of become so played out at this point. It's just so strong, and it feels like you almost need it to get stuff like Gorilla working. But so I don't think I could pick either of them. I've always liked Crocodile. And they buffed it to be even better than it. I mean, it used to be really good, but they made it even stronger. I think I put Turtle in here mainly because it's probably one of, if not my most bought units, although you obviously get fewer chances to buy it now that it's tier 4. Hedgehog is always funny. Another unit that I think has really kind of suffered from the heart meta in pack 1, early turns in pack 1 in Arena, you're playing against elephant, peacock, camel, blowfish all the time. So Hedgehog, it's kind of a bit of a liability, but it's definitely funny. So what I'm going to go with here, let's say, I think we're going to say, see, Parrot would have been one of my favourites for a long time as well, but I don't know can I really justify picking something that doesn't really have its own ability and it has to copy something else? So I think we're going to go with third place, and we're going with Snail. And maybe that's nostalgia talking, but I used to just love the good old days where you would freeze an entire shop of snails and then buy them all at once. And that would allow you to take a really bad team and level it up in one turn. And I know it was kind of rough for versus mode, but it was just so much fun to see your terrible team, like on lethal, suddenly become unbeatable. But yeah, probably for the best that it was changed. And the fact that the games now go longer means that you get more opportunities to buy Snail, and keeping the a level 1, level 1.5, in order to get the level ups and the higher stat boosts later on, is definitely a viable strategy in some situations. All right, so I think second place, I'm going to go with Whale. Now, I think a lot of people don't like Whale, and probably because it's not that great a unit. However, I think it's one of the best designs in Pack 1. It's just so unique. And obviously it's not unique anymore because they added the beluga, but the idea that you have to that you voluntarily feint one of your own units at the start of the game, but it actually benefits you. I think that's really interesting, and they've obviously expanded on that with other pets. But and then of course you've got the crazy combos where you have things like a level 3 whale swallowing a gorilla and then spitting out a level 3 gorilla. You almost never see it in Arena, but that's really fun when you make that work. Well, that just leaves one obvious choice, at least to me, for number 1 in Pack 1, and that is the Badger. And obviously it has undergone a bit of a change over the last year. It's no longer, you're no longer going against Honey Badger at the back every single game. So I think the annoyance factor is kind of gone. And, you as a new player, you see Badger's ability and you think, how am I supposed to use that? But then you see someone actually running front Badger, and suddenly it all falls into place, and you realize that actually, although these pets have really a lot of them have very simple abilities, you can start to create really crazy combos if you just put them in the right order. So I think Badger, definitely my favourite pet in Pack 1. Definitely takes a lot more work now to get it going, but I think it rightfully deserves its place at the top. All right, Pack 2. Kind of harder to pick here. I guess we've already done the honourable mention, so there's not really many others down here that could potentially be in this list. But again, if you want to pause and guess what I'm going to pick 1, 2, 3, then feel free to do so now. All right. Now, this short list has been kind of padded out a bit, I'll have to say. I mean, Bluebird, it used to be so different, and the change to it has really quite drastically adjusted how Pack 2 plays. I'm not sure I could pick it based on its current iteration, and I just yesterday lost 5 Bluebirds run in Pack 2 on 9 wins, which I should have won. So I'm kind of salty about that. Hatching Chick, I think I find very irritating at level 1. But then level 2 and 3, especially 3, it starts to get crazy. But I mean, it's so seldom that you see level 3 Hatching Chick. But definitely one of the more interesting designs, and I really wish there were more pets like this where they don't have the same ability on every turn. In fact, inside Packs 1 and 2, there's Fish. It used to be Octopus, but they changed it. And then there's Caterpillar. Are there any more? I guess Scorpion doesn't have level ups, but out of something like 75, 80 pets, there's only like 4 that don't have symmetrical abilities, and I really wish. I think that would really help balancing as well. If they were able to make adjustments that don't have to go 1, 2, 3 in terms of power level. But anyway, I digress. I suppose Goat and Sauropod are both similar in that they really incentivize you to play as optimally as possible in the shop. Where you're exhausting the triggers and then you're leveling up or combining to reset the trigger count and extend the turn even more. I think they kind of suffer from the fact that so many gold pets have been added to the game. So you've got stuff like Silver Fox and Manta and Weasel that are just generating huge amounts of gold at the start of turn, and you don't have to work for it at all. But I think these are more like what these economy pets should be like, in my opinion. Microbe, I mean, it's very funny. I almost never buy it, but it's worthy of being in this shortlist just based on the laughing sound effect when you buy it. Chicken, almost completely irrelevant in Pack 2, but it's the nostalgia is there definitely for the old 50/50 shops, which honestly still felt pretty difficult back when it was a tier 5 in the Pack 2 environment. So let's pick some favorites here. So I think I'm going to go lobster as third. I think the number of times I've played Pack 2 where I have gone to turn 5 with like 3 or 4 level ups and all I wanted was lobster and I didn't get it, it's just such a disappointment. I mean, I think out of all the level ups you can get on turn 5 in Pack 2, it's arguably the worst. It could be, I mean, worm, I guess, is probably the worst. But of everything else, it's by far the worst, I would say. And yet, I always want to get it. Because its ability kind of, things like buffalo and bison are just so static, whereas lobster allows you to buy, otherwise weaker units that, things like goat, and get the buffs onto them. So I've always liked it, especially when people used to think it was the worst unit in the game. It's definitely not the worst unit, but I've always liked it. And having like a team of 4 lobsters plus something else, it's still probably the most fun I have in Pack 2. All right, I think second place we're going to go sauropod. And sauropod is actually one of the few pets for the new artwork. I actually prefer the new sauropod. I've always disliked the fact that it looks like it's in pain looking behind itself like that. So I'm glad that although I don't like most of the new artwork, the new sauropod has had a bit of a neck relief with its new design. But I just think it's one of those pets that again feels like it's kind of weak, but when you get it going, it's really fun, and optimizing those turns where you're extracting the maximum amount of gold. It's very satisfying and definitely a worthy pick, I think. So I think maybe that leaves probably the most obvious pick of them all, and we're going to go dromedary number 1 in Pack 2. I think the sort of age of the dromedary is past in Pack 2. You used to see a lot more people running multiple dromedaries and scaling, their entire shop, but since you can only scale 2 slots, and since beetle is really pretty bad, and you don't want to be wasting gold on food for the beetle, you don't really see it that much anymore. It's definitely probably better in custom packs, but always been one of my favorite units, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. All right, let's pick some villains here. Out of all of this dross down here, what's the absolute worst? Well, I mean, Pack 1, I guess some people would take turkey, but honestly, I think turkey is very similar to lobster. The pivot turns with turkey when you're not using it for summons can be really fun. I actually really dislike tiger. And I know a lot of people probably love this unit. I just think it's so lazy. It's like the version of parrot where you don't have to invest anything into it. And it must be one of the most bought tier 6s in the game, if not the most. There's so many builds where people just throw tiger in at the end to double up the effectiveness of something else, double up snake, double up leopard, whatever it is. I've never liked it. And although it does enable some kind of crazy custom builds, people never use it for that. They use it for duplicating leopard, for duplicating octopus. Don't like tiger. I think elephant, it's hard. I mean, I don't think I would put elephant in the bin, but it's so annoying. It's become like an absolute staple of Pack 1. Like, so many teams run it. And especially when you get to the late game and your entire team gets deleted by elephant and blowfish, which is tier 2 and tier 3, it definitely doesn't feel right. I don't think I would put it bottom though, because it went for so long as being absolutely unusable. Maybe it's only right that it gets a little bit of time in the spotlight. I guess we have to go Bison. I mean, I don't think I need to explain that. Just extremely dull, overplayed. A lot of people, especially in weekly packs, just running the early game over and over until they get a level 3 into Bison on turn 5. I think equally you got to throw Buffalo in there. Back when people didn't really realize that this was like one of the best units in the game, I don't think it was so bad. But I mean, even now with 3 triggers, because previously there were no triggers, so you could just carry on using it as many times as you wanted to. It's just it's so oppressive, and it ruins weekly packs constantly. Really same with Bison. In fact, let's just throw Llama in there as well. All 3 of these are major culprits of making weekly packs borderline unplayable. Any more? I guess we can throw some more. Instead of finishing on an absolute downer, let's throw some more honourable mentions in there. Let's say, where is it? Rat. I think Rat is one of the better designs, probably one of the best tier 2 designs in the game, I would say, given that it actually has an ability that it kind of demonstrates the synergy off the bat with things like Camel and Blowfish and Peacock as well, I guess. But it's not good, and therefore you're encouraged not to keep it. And if you do keep it, it's a liability. Whereas you can't really say that about a lot of the other tier 2s like Elephant and Swan. So definitely should have given Rat a shout out earlier. I mean, we got to throw Sloth up the top. I mean, I'm still waiting for the level 3 achievement, but it's going to be so sweet when we finally get there. All right, those are my picks for Turtle and Puppy packs. So how many did you get right of the guesses? And let me know in the comments below what your favorites are from these 2 packs.